If you spend any time in the fitness world, you have probably seen it pop up everywhere on your feed. Hyrox. It feels like it's taking over, right? So what exactly is this thing? Well, we're going to break down the race, dig into the science, and figure out what it actually takes to cross that finish line.
Okay, let's just pause on these numbers for a second because they're insane. A race that's only been around since 2017 is already pulling in thousands of people. So what's the magic formula? We're going to look at its unique structure, but more importantly, we're diving into the first ever scientific study that tells us what's really going on inside your body when you compete.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick off with what Hyrox actually is, then we'll nerd out on the science, talk strategy for training and fueling, and then we'll answer the big question. Should you give it a shot?
All right, let's start with the absolute basics. When you hear your friend at the gym say they're training for Hyrox, what on earth are they actually talking about?
Here's the core of it. It's a simple but brutal pattern. You run 1 kilometer, then you do 1 workout station, and you repeat that 8 times. But here's the real kicker, the thing that sets it apart. The workouts never, ever change. That means your time in London is directly comparable to someone's time in Dallas. It's a universal fitness test.
And these are the 8 stations, the gauntlet you have to run through. You've got the cardio machines, the ski erg, and the rower. You've got pure grinding strength with that heavy sled push and pull. And then you have the stations that are just pure grit. I'm talking about the soul-stealing burpee broad jumps and the legendary finisher, the wall balls.
And check out this setup. All the action happens in that central area. They call it the rock zone, with the running track circling it. Just imagine the vibe. You're in the loud, chaotic energy of the rock zone with people cheering, and then bam, you're back out on the track for a lonely kilometer, just you and your thoughts. It's that constant switch that makes this race a mental battle as much as a physical one. So we know what it looks like, we know the moves. But what's it actually doing to your body? This is where it gets really cool, because for the very first time, scientists have actually put Hyrox under the microscope to see what's happening on a physiological level. Yep, researchers in Munich got a bunch of regular Hyrox athletes, hooked them up to all sorts of monitors, and had them do a full simulated race. They measured everything: heart rate, lactate, you name it. The goal was to finally swap out the bro science for some actual hard data. And boom, here's the first huge takeaway. You see all the heavyweights and think this is a strength competition, right? Wrong. Look at that time split. Over 60%, let that sink in. More than half your time is spent running. This right here confirms it. The workouts are tough, for sure, but Hyrox is a runner's game.
Now, if that last slide was interesting, this one is just staggering. Look at the intensity. For almost 80% of the race, athletes are in the red zone, over 90% of their max heart rate. There's no pacing yourself, no chill mode. It's a full-on sprint from start to finish.
So what's the secret sauce for a fast time? The study found 3 massive predictors. Number 1, by a long shot, a high VO2 max. That's just a fancy term for how big your aerobic engine is. After that, having a lower body fat percentage and, no surprise, a history of endurance training. And you know what's not a top predictor? Being the strongest person in the room.
Okay, so the science couldn't be clearer. This is an endurance beast that requires a massive engine. So with that knowledge, how in the world do you actually prepare for it?
Well, you run headfirst into this classic training puzzle called concurrent training. It's a balancing act. You're trying to get stronger and improve your endurance. But those two things often work against each other. Lifting too heavy can slow you down, and running too much can sabotage your strength. So how do the pros solve this riddle? Well, listen to the champ, Hunter McIntyre. He talks about something called compromise running. The idea sounds horrible, but it's genius. You do a hard workout to get your body tired, and then you go for your run. It teaches your body and your mind to perform when you're already fatigued, which is, the entire race.
So, putting it all together, your training plan has to mirror what the science tells us. Running is your #1 priority. To build that engine without wrecking your joints, you should make friends with the rower and the skier. And of course, you need to mix in workouts that simulate the race itself, that strength then cardio combo. Be strong enough, for sure, but remember, endurance is king. All right, so you can build the world's best race car, but if you put the wrong fuel in it, you're not getting off the start line. Training is one thing, but your nutrition strategy for an event this hard is absolutely critical. We're all kind of obsessed with protein these days. And yeah, it's super important for repairing your muscles after the race, but for performance during the race, the real MVP, the absolute hero, is carbohydrates. They're not just fuel. For this kind of intensity, they are pure rocket fuel. Really, a solid nutrition plan is a 3-step mission. Before the race, you're carb loading to max out your energy stores. During the race, you're sipping water, and if you're going to be out there for a while, taking in some quick carbs like gels. And after, you hit that recovery window hard with a meal that's got plenty of carbs to refuel and protein to rebuild. So, after all this talk about redlining your heart rate, brutal workouts, and strategic fueling, you might be having a totally reasonable thought right now. Yeah, this sounds absolutely not for me. And that thought often comes from one big fear, right? Am I going to be the slowest person there? Am I going to be last? We see the highlight reels of the elites and get intimidated. But as this coach points out, the reality on race day is completely different. Statistically, you are just not going to be the slowest one there. And that's because when you actually go to a Hyrox event, you see everybody. Yeah, you've got the pros, but you also see people of every age and fitness level. You've got first-timers whose only goal is to finish, and you've got doubles and relay teams where you can literally share the pain with friends. There's a spot for anyone who's just looking for a challenge.
So look, Hyrox is going to test your physical limits. The science makes that perfectly clear. But the real question isn't about the clock. It's about what happens when you're an hour in, you're exhausted, and every single part of you wants to stop. What you find out about yourself in that moment, that's probably the real reason to race.